Hey everybody, I'm Jared with Secrets of College Funding, and today we're logging in for an office hour where my goal is just to answer questions. Anything and everything under the sun is fair game. Hopefully we can get to everybody's questions today. So with that said, let's go ahead and open up the floor. Is it Karina? Do you have the first question?
I do. My baby, she's just starting college now, and my older child didn't go to college, so this has been a completely new experience for us. The question that is the most fresh in my mind is about timelines. Um, how long does it take after you apply for a loan until you get a response? And then when you get a response, about how long does it take for the money to get deposited? Because I mean, the school wants their money. We have books to buy, supplies, and the information that we're getting is not complete.
Absolutely. Great question, Karina. So to paraphrase, her question is about timelines and when you apply for financial aid, what is the expectation in terms of hearing back? And then of course, what we all care about is when is that money actually going to hit our accounts and is it going to affect us? So great question, Karina. Way to lead us off. Appreciate that. The financial aid process is driven on your action as a family a lot of times. So when students are heading into that senior year of high school, it really is in their court as far as, when they want to start the financial aid process. And then, like any process, it requires some supplemental requirements. Okay. So as far as tax information goes, and in some cases, specific documents that may lay out some of your family's financial profile that's very specific and very certain to you guys. So to answer your question in a nutshell, generally after January 1st is a good time to get that application in for federal financial aid. You can start that process, and it's a federal application, if you can imagine what that is. So you apply, you have to set up a login and user ID, just like it seems like everything has this day and age. Nothing uncommon in that respect. But you're also given a PIN number that's specific to you. And so as you complete that, what that's doing is you're telling that federal financial aid, okay, the government that's out there, that these are the universities that I'm interested in. So if you're a student at that time, which is also a way that you can kind of manage this process, knows which schools that they're looking at, they can enter those school codes in. Okay, so they can list a bunch of schools in there that at that point, as soon as the federal government gets that, they're going to assess kind of what the need of the family is, but then they're going to route that information into the independent university or college to basically put that cost up against that need up against their total expenses. Okay, so that's where you got to be a little bit at the mercy of those colleges and universities, because I think schools want to act quickly. They want to get that information back. But at the same time, think about it, you're one of millions that are out there completing that federal financial aid process. So their volume is significant, and it can be kind of cumbersome for a few weeks, if not maybe a couple months. But with that said, you shouldn't be discouraged, because I think if you've done your part to get that in as soon as you can, the college university is going to take that, they're going to assess it against those total costs. They're going to route you a decision, basically an award package that you can review and then kind of assess, apples to apples in terms of the other schools that you're looking for. So my advice in terms of the timing of that process is, make sure your son or daughter has a laundry list of schools that they are considering that they enter that school code in, because that's going to expedite how quickly you're going to get that financial aid process back. If they don't list those schools initially, they can go back in and add those at any time. But again, it's one more step that then has to then trigger something else, and there's a domino effect that can slow down the process. So in terms of the timing of what to expect from schools, it does depend on the time of the year. Okay, so keep in mind that midwinter time period, you're gonna be waiting a few weeks, if not a month and a half. And some schools are going to do a good job saying our goal is to give you your financial aid reports by this date, so you as a family can really start planning. On the flip side of that, just be checking things on a regular basis. So if you don't know what you're going to hear back, checking your email, checking your son or daughter's portal, because if they've been accepted to that university, then there's a good chance that some of that official correspondence is going to be coming to their university address as well. So be checking into that university account in some way. Okay, so in terms of the timing, does that help in that respect?
It does. Thank you.
Okay, terrific. But I do want to get to your other point, and that's when can I expect the money to actually be in my account? How can that, help us out as a family? All right, and that is going to be very time oriented to the start of the school year. So, the school year just began here in Colorado. Many schools are in their third week or so of regular in-person classes, which we're very thankful for. And generally the week before classes begin, the university is going to do an assessment of all the credits that a student has registered for. Okay, so they're going to put those officially on the student's account. So once they do that, they can overlay financial aid on that student's account. So the kicker here is you're never going to see that money in your pocket right off the bat. But what you're going to see is you're going to see a discount from what that student's account showed for the balance due for the tuition. Okay, so in other words, if they're taking 15 credit hours and that costs $8,000, that financial aid, if it's a loan, if it's a grant, something along those lines that came from the federal award package, that's going to be taken off the top of that student's total account. So if they're checking that, it does feel like it hit the bank account because that's money that they're not going to have to pay.
That's right.
Okay? So that's going to lessen the burden. And the only time that a student can expect to have money actually hit their pockets for possibly some living expenses. So if you've taken aid out above and beyond what the cost of attendance is that you're owing the university, then that money is where they're going to disperse that on a given day. And that's going to be communicated by the university. In many cases now it's nice because it's a direct deposit to a bank account. And so it's going to hit a bank account, and that's where students have the ability to go then buy textbooks. They can pay rent. They can, if they had other discretionary expenses that they're planning for, they could apply it to them. And we hope that students make good decisions and apply that money where it really counts. But I'll be honest, we've seen everything under the sun from going to purchase that brand new car to, getting that snowboard or ski pass for the year because the winter's coming. It's right around the corner. So again, at that time, that money is in their pocket. So that coincides with the academic calendar, and schools are very persistent about communicating, when you can expect your aid checks because it is so important in the student's experience.
Awesome. Thank you.
So yeah, great question, Karina. Who do we have?